Next on our agenda is item 9.3, another action item. This is the consideration to approve policies. And to present, we have Board Member Chad Johnson.
So this is the third time these are up, so now it's when we approve them, do we need to review them again? Two readings. So I guess this would be our opportunity to say, anybody have any unresolved questions about any of these things?
All seems straightforward.
Second.
Motion by Valdez and second by Brophy. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Chad. Next on our agenda is another action item, item 9.4. Change October 2024 board meeting to October 14, and Dr. Redmond will present.
Thank you. Yeah, Tiffany, if you can scroll down to October, you'll see we've put strike through three dates, 3 events there, and then replace them with new dates all on October 21st, different times for the committee meetings. The catalyst for this change, both Jim and I will be gone. Ford NGL training is scheduled then, and looking out, made sense to come and seek approval to move the board meeting from October 14th to October 21, and then made the corresponding changes in terms of the committee work.
So just to be clear, the agenda item I have in front of me says to move to October 14, but we're moving from October 14? I just want to be clear.
Thank you, yeah. It should say to October 21.
To October 21. Okay,
Correct.
thank you.
Excellent point.
So I'll make a motion that we move our originally scheduled October 14th meeting to October 21st and associated committee meetings as well.
We have a motion by Peterson and a second by Valdez. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Could we go back? Sure, the one time you go really fast.
All right.
I know the guy who screwed the calendar up really well. I'm not sure what happened. All of those dates should say October 14th instead of October 21.
Okay, so the agenda is right.
The agenda is correct.
It's your presented
And I don't know
calendar
if
that's
that
wrong.
got auto-corrected, but I
Okay.
was really trying to go quickly into the
So
calendar.
we'll do this again with the,
This time I'll give you the right information. How's that?
okay, so the agenda is correct. We're moving to October 14. I'm gonna say it right, October 14,
Thank you.
2024. We'll entertain a motion.
I'll make the motion again to,
But now we have to move it from the 21st to the 14th.
Yeah,
So you have to make the motion
yes,
to
I will make
approve
the
from
motion
21st
to,
the
you're right. So I will make a motion to move from October 21st to October 14th.
I will second.
We have a motion by Peterson, a second by Valdez. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
That was a question.
It's not pretty, but we get there eventually. Next is another action item, item 9.5, consideration to approve parameters of a joint work agreement with Scott County. And here to present is our Assistant Superintendent, Jim McCosich.
Thank you, Chair Smith. So, as you all remember, back in October, we had a joint board meeting with Scott County. The purpose of that meeting was to talk about what I would describe as shared interests. And the two interests that we focused on that evening were child find with 3 and 4-year-olds, so that we could increase the number of students in our early childhood programs and increase their skills heading into kindergarten, which is definitely a good goal. And then the other one was around student attendance and truancy, as it is often called. From that particular meeting, a working group emerged within our school, along with the county. It was made up of K-12 members of our staff, and we did everything from look at data to talk about student attendance and what some of the challenges are, and where we see some of the bottlenecks of students maybe starting to drop off from attending school regularly. As the conversation went along, the county asked us if they could fully fund a position to work with us to support student attendance. And again, I want to stress that this was their idea, and they had some funds that for innovative programming, and the innovative program that they would like to fund is called the attendance specialist position. The details are in the board agenda. I would say the highlights are, at the conclusion of the work group, we decided that we wanted to focus on students ages 11 to 15. That would put our primary focus on the middle school with that transition to high school, because we recognize 8th to 9th grade is where we start to see student attendance dip, and I think there's some natural causes for that. This person will ultimately work for Shakopee Schools, and their job, or their time will be split. A lot of it will be in the community, because obviously students who aren't in school can't meet with them at school. So it'll be going out into the community, doing home visits, building relationships, trying to figure out what the barriers are with students to attending school, and then when the kids are back in our schools, meeting with them on site, on campus, so that connection will continue to be there, and it'll continue to motivate students to attend. This particular resolution is just essentially authorizing the agreement. We're still working out some final details with the county, hoping to have them in place, frankly, by the end of this week, if not, or next week. And I would also add that I attended the Scott County Board meeting last Tuesday, and they approved a similar resolution to this, authorizing the funding of the position. Questions?
Just to clarify, I guess, so this person is gonna be a district employee, but the funding for their employment comes from the county.
Yep.
Right?
We will incur no cost, and if we do not have this position, we would not have the money. So they are specifying specifically what we can do with it. So it's essentially a grant.
So when are you looking to have this person in place?
We are hoping to have them in place by July 1st. One of the other components of this position is, we want it to be year-round. We recognize that a lot of the habits that drive truancy can start over the summer months when kids aren't in school. I would also say a lot of our students who are chronically absent would benefit from different summer programming, so trying to get those students into that summer programming so that we can build the habit of school over those summer months. And we also recognize there's a lot of critical community events that go on over the summer, whether it's the picnic with the police or any number of just community gatherings where we want this person to be present so that they can start to get to know different families and how our community is wired.
Kind of in regards to that, this is, in terms of our normal sequence, it's a little bit out of sequence, but it comes back to the question you just asked, that if we don't do it this way, where, hey, it's basically in essence pre-approved by both boards, all right, now, as soon as we get the word go from the, both attorneys who are, hopefully that's imminent, we can do the posting, we can do the hiring. Otherwise, we would have to go back through and go to the regular meetings of both entities, and most likely for us, that means it would be the June 24th meeting, and now we're gonna try to do a posting, which goes over the 4th. We're not gonna have anybody in place, until the earliest, probably like August 1. So that's, the urgency is more, we know this is somebody we trust we're working with at Scott County. We're doing this work, we're all in it together, and we've got the bulk of all the kind of, joint powers, work agreement type stuff worked out, but it's really just both sides trying to make sure we didn't miss anything. And that's why getting the attorneys in, and that's that last part, which is, like I said, somewhat unusual. You're in essence authorizing me then to sign the final agreement with the county. But if there wasn't a time urgency to get the person in place and get going, we wouldn't be here right now with this agenda item.
Joe?
I just have a quick question about the $115,000. I'm assuming that's for total compensations?
And there's no guarantee that that will be the amount of
It's
compensation.
maximum of
That's the
115,000.
maximum, and that's, I would add, there's up to 3 renewals, so it's a 4-year position, and that would be the maximum compensation in the 4th year.
Okay.
Good question.
Yes, more of a comment, this is just wonderful fruit from the collaboration between the county and the school district. We had that joint meeting last year, and it was just it was just a great experience to me. It's really nice to see the resources that the county has available, just kind of firsthand, their presentation to us, and just that awareness of what they have in their willingness to work with us, and it's really encouraging.
Actually, I'm looking forward to whoever is in this position to coming to the meetings and explaining exactly what they will be doing.
I think we've kind of tentatively talked about another joint board meeting perhaps we'd host at some point.
Even better.
I just have one other question. How does this fit into some of the legislation that's currently out there to do some pilot programming for truancy? And is this part of that, or is this a completely separate thing that we're doing on our own?
So it's a great question, and I would add that Representative Bakeberg has taken a definite interest in the work that we're doing, and he's been in and out of a number of meetings, with Nikki Conway at the county, who oversees the child welfare division, and we've had those conversations. This is not related to the legislation at the Capitol, and what you're referring to is the last I saw, and there's no funding this year, but they were looking at, I believe, $20 per student statewide to fund positions similar to this. So I do think that this has the opportunity to be a model for what could come from that, and I think given Representative Bakeberg's, interest and continued follow-up, he will be watching to see how this goes before session starts next year.
Thought what I heard today in the conference committee was that there were school districts that were identified throughout the state that were gonna be piloting something for, and there was gonna be a work group or something. I was just listening to it in the background, and knew this was on the agenda tonight, so that kind of piqued my interest a little bit more, but I didn't have time today to dig out the details.
I'm almost positive 2 separate initiatives
separate,
trying
yes.
to tackle kind of the same challenges.
And, just to follow up to that, are there other districts that are partnering with their county leadership? Or, again, is Shakopee kind of a pioneer in this space? Who else is doing this work? Because I'll echo what, my colleague, Mr. Smith said, this is a great outcome to have such a strong partnership with the county.
Yeah, there's no one aware of doing what we're doing right now, and we have other partnerships with Scott County, such as the Connect Therapists, et cetera. But when it comes to this type of work, I'm not aware of anybody doing it right now. Which makes getting the agreements right
Yeah.
kind of fun.
Right.
Yeah. The pioneers, once again.
Entertain a motion to approve.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
A motion by Peterson and a second by Brophy. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Jim. And next is our last action item for the night. Item 9.6, resolution for membership in the Minnesota State High School League for 2024-25, and Dr. Redmond will present.
Yeah, this is in order to be a member of Minnesota State High School League. We talked about all those guidelines for booster clubs, and a lot of our activities and our sports are members of the Minnesota State High School League. So this is our annual agenda item, seeking board approval in the form of a resolution for membership in the Minnesota High School League. And so the first paragraph is, the main resolution. I think that fits what we need here. And then I would ask, just as we tend to do as a matter of practice with a resolution, we would just do an individual roll call vote.
So if we voted this down,
Good luck. No, finding people to play your sports
The
teams.
essential
No.
question, it's good to know. yeah.
There was, a couple of years ago, there was somebody considering that, and I had that, so we at least went, it's really challenging, because other members of the Minnesota State High School League, which is pretty much, other than Shattuck St. Mary's, which kind of does their own thing, across the nation, and a couple others, you actually can't compete against non-members of the Minnesota State High School League without their permission. Like we had to get special permission last year when the girls' hockey team went up to Canada into Fort Francis and played there. So you would really, I don't know what you would do for high school competition. I don't think there's any real viable options, to be quite frank. There are some independent things, but they're really few and far between and pretty unique, so. And I don't recommend, I'm very comfortable being the pioneer when it comes to let's figure out how to tackle truancy and get kids in class. I am nowhere near as comfortable being the pioneer with, our own sports endeavor, so, yeah.
That being said,
Well, there's nothing about because we have to pay fees to be a member, right? And there's nothing in here about that, no discussion about changes to that or anything. Okay.
I don't know, you could ask a member of the high school board of directors how much they're charging us.
Well, we are getting rebated back, so our cost to be a member of the State High School League for next year and for this year has been significantly reduced because of revenue taken in by state tournaments and corporate sponsorship, so it is significantly less than what it used to be. And I don't see that changing anytime in the near future from what the projections are. I'm actually on the finance committee for the State High School League, so there you go. I just want to make a comment. If you scroll down a little bit on this, the vote on behalf of the high school, my name should not be on there since I am on the governing board for the State High School League. I think it's Chad is our representative, so. I don't want it to be
Oh, that's a good addition.
noted as a conflict of interest.
you misspelled Chad.
No.
You added an F.
Yeah, that's how his goes,
Oh, is it?
right?
Yeah, there's
Okay.
probably another C. Johnson.
Yeah.
Any further discussion, Carolyn?
Thank
Well,
you.
no, I'm gonna say, I'm gonna make a motion to approve because I love sports.
I don't want to lose my job on the State High School League, so hopefully.
We have a motion by
I will
Valdez,
second.
a second by Johnson. Any further discussion? See none, Tiffany, can you do the roll?
Yep, Valdez,
Yes.
Brophy,
Yeah,
Peterson,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Aldridge,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes.
Mohammed.
Motion carries 6-0. Next on our agenda is information item 10.1, district update from Dr. Redmond.
Thank you, and thanks, Tiffany. This was the 7th year that they've held the South of the River powwow, and this year the group of students being celebrated included 5 of our 12th grade students from Shakopee, which is really cool. Also, really neat, some of the programming we have for aspiring teachers. We had another recent event celebrating future educators and honored students. There were some scholarship recipients, and then there were others that are committing to careers in education. We had Christy Anderson from the Minnesota Department of Ed present. We're working with Minnesota State University Mankato, University of Minnesota. And so I just think some really neat support for the profession of teaching, with just the different grow your own opportunities that are being developed and are really coming to fruition and in our own district, and really just great stuff. Summer school, I keep I don't know, I keep like writing March instead of May when I start off with MA. Mentally, my mind is about 2 months behind in some ways calendar-wise, but it is, we are actually getting very close to summer school and summer programming and all of those things. In fact, the registration is now open. A lot of our programming is through targeted services. Eric Service does a lot of the leadership. We've got some really cool partnerships. I think we heard earlier about the St. Francis donation. That's part of that Mi Casa and our community ed summer camp and programming, and and then we also have the extended school year camp, more commonly just referred to as ESY, which is led by our special services team. So again, lots of great opportunities for our students over the summer. We've, as you know, we've had the community conversation has been live and continues to be available through May 26th. That kind of, what we started off as more of a traditional survey, I don't know, probably 5 years ago now, something like that, and that morphed last year into Thought Exchange, which we think is a more robust conversation, more insight, more kind of recognition and sharing of thoughts and scores and rankings. So we encourage people to participate in that. And that type of constructive feedback is certainly a really, really important part of school board work, superintendent work, school leadership work. So we're appreciative of all those who've taken the time to complete that, and we've got a little bit more time still to collect that information. We've hosted, we've heard a little bit about this, but hosted recently 2 Minnesota State High School League events, the state speech tournament, and prior to, and around the same time as that, the Visual Arts Festival. And both are really cool events. If you've never been to a state high school speech meet, there's nothing like the prep and stuff going on in the hallways. You can try to describe it, but you'd really have to see that. And then I always come away really feeling bad from the visual arts thing, and it happened again this year. I walk through and I am like blown away by the talent of the student artists, and I feel awfully inadequate in that aspect of my life. It is amazing what they create, what they do, and kind of the power behind the message even of that. And so just, yeah, very, very cool event that we were fortunate to hold both of these. Bless you. We did a little work over at Bayer. One of our Academy champions hosted our semi-annual steering committee meeting, and we also had folks in from Ford NGL, some of our coach and other people like that, and really trying to get into the specifics of where do we go next and how do we continue to be better tomorrow in the academies of Shakopee than we are today, and grow and develop, and really, really good work. And again, I love what we're doing with a number of our meetings this year, and this is another example of there's something about seeing Bayer firsthand and understanding where they're at, that is truly modeling what we're trying to do, where we're breaking down the walls of the school and basically saying learning and the connections for learning can happen anywhere and across our community, and we've got some amazing partners. Also a lot of fun, young folks who've invested time and energy in sports and athletics and other activities. When they're able to continue and play beyond high school, and some of them actually get the gift of a scholarship that pays their way to do so. And we certainly have a lot of talented folks in that area too. And again, I know we've talked about these, our most recent systems and structures meeting, which amazingly focused quite a bit on attendance, and looking at how do we, how does attendance influence, impact student learning outcomes. Had some great conversations trying to be more vertically aligned, between different grade levels up and down the school district, and then across the schools, that how can we learn from each other and how can we develop a much better system in terms of, what are the reasons? Why aren't kids coming to school? Why, what's going on? And there's some really interesting kind of nationwide research and things, and lots of issues impacting our students today, many of which are kind of new and different and challenging than previously. But again, we held that meeting off-site. We were over on Marshall there, kind of now neighbors are in the same structure as the transportation building is the Family Resources Center of Scott County. and again, very appreciative of their willingness to host, because every time we visit a site, we get to know them better, and being there is different than just hearing about it. And then, Saber of the Night, Thursday night, we will recognize, our employees as being celebrated by their peers for outstanding, years of, service and performance, and then our retirees and, recognizing them. And I would be remiss, if I did not, just mention the incredible support from Hart. Not only financially, they make a sizable donation and have now, but even, the John Russell, if you know who he is, he actually creates a song at our Takata Learning Center graduation. And he's creating a memorial song, because unfortunately our community's been touched. Now I might get choked up, by some folks passing this year, and John took it upon himself, and he's working on something, as a tribute to those folks, and to, recognizing the folks that we've lost, along the way this year in that journey, so. That's my update.
Thank you, Dr. Leonard. Next on our agenda is item 11, committee reports and other information. Let's start with Caroline.
So nothing new for the community engagement. We have an upcoming meeting now on May 28th. I thought it was the 20th, but Joe corrected me, so it was the 28th. And I will be at the Saber of the Night event. I've gone to this event in the past. It's really impactful. I love it, so be there Thursday.
I also attended the visual arts display, and it was equally overwhelmed and felt inadequate from the artistic side. And if you happen to be a fan of dragons, some of that pottery, that's just absolutely incredible. And of course, that, represented schools and, across our league, but just great work there. I also went to the Hobbit. It was great to see that. It's on the smaller stage. But again, the talent among this student population continues to overwhelm, and I know many of those students are seniors this year, so that would have been their last performance. So, next up, I will also be at Saber of the Night on Thursday.
Awesome. Christy?
We had personnel committee meeting tonight for this meeting, and I will also be at Saber of the Night on Thursday. Just an update at our last meeting, I think I shared that the Southwest Metro Superintendent is retiring. And so, being on that board, I am heavily involved in the search progress, and can say that the committee is doing some great work. Things are progressing well. We meet on a weekly basis. The job posted last week, and will be open for 2 weeks. And it's the committee's goal to, we're hopeful that we'll have final interviews mid-June, so we will have somebody July 1 or shortly thereafter. So keeping our fingers crossed. With that, it's a lot of work, but we need to make sure we find the right person for that position. And then last week, Thursday and Friday, I was spent time in the lovely St. Peter, Minnesota, and was at the NSBA annual meeting, where we established budget for next school year, and we'll have the board voted to approve a 1% dues increase, which I think for Shakopee schools is like $40 or something. It was very, very minimal. So, but just like our end of the school year, we had our end of the year planning and approval of things as well. So that's it.
Thank you. Chad?
Yeah, not much for community engagement. We're doing a meet in a couple weeks. I did get to go to the aspiring teacher ceremony, and also as a part of the selection committee, and that's it's my second time doing that. It remains probably the coolest thing I've gotten to do since being part of school board. And there were donuts there, so that was a nice surprise. Yeah, and I'll be at the Savor the Night too.
Great, thank you. Joe?
I have nothing to say. No reporting.
Or-
No, nothing. I haven't left
Is
my
that
house
coming in
in
the
3
minutes?
weeks.
Is that- Good. Thank you, Joe. I went to the Academies of Shakopee Steering Committee meeting, and, you know, it's like Dr. Redmond said, it was just a great experience. Just the support of our local businesses and Academy champions, Academy sponsors, and yeah, I can't say enough about how great that was. The constructive feedback committee meetings started up last week, you know, talking about a potential, you know, capital levy renewal. The student school board member interviews, which I talked about earlier, is a great experience. We had personnel committee meeting tonight. And then I had the pleasure on Thursday of going to the U of M College of Science and Engineering, where my son Ian graduated. And I bring that up because, and why it's relevant to Shakopee is he was able to graduate in just 3 years because of his AP and CIS classes here. And he's not alone. There are at least 4 other Shakopee people graduating that same day, you know, all early, you know, because of their great experience here in Shakopee schools. So want to put a plug for that. And, you know, it kind of goes back to the academies too, where you talk about the portrait of a graduate. We talked about that, and, you know, just, you know, where our alumni go and the opportunities, and, you know, how our district sets up our students for success. So I wanted to bring that up. And then I'll also be at Savor tonight. Dr. Redmond?
I've spoken enough.
Oh, details. Skip your school.
I don't have much to report. I'm excited for the Save the Night event on Thursday. There's gonna be the community engagement committee meeting on the 28th, and then the Saber Showcase is gonna be on the 29th as well. I highly encourage you to show up, to go there. You get to see a lot of hard work that's being put throughout, that is going to be coming to fruition throughout like a bunch of different classes. And I think it's a really good opportunity to see what high school has to offer.
Jim?
Yeah, last Thursday, we had our final crisis and safety team meeting of the year, and I want to thank the teachers and administrators that are a part of that, and just highlight the amazing work that they've done to keep our crisis manual updated and make sure that we have different protocols for, you know, everything from, you know, students who are experiencing bad moments and suicidal ideations, threat assessments, et cetera, and then just all the work that's gone into the June 20th reunification event that you're all welcome to attend. So a great group of people. The work they do is real. The number of times that, you know, we lean on that manual when unfortunate events happen is, you know, more than I would like, but at the same time, we've got great processes in place and we continue to follow those as needed. So great group of people. And I get to MC Saber tonight, I guess.
Oh, all right.
Ooh.
What color jacket you wearing?
I don't know, red or black?
I thought we were going red. I thought we'd
Okay,
already.
it's red jacket now.
All right.
You're gonna coordinate though?
We'll work on that.
I think we just did.
We'll work on pants tomorrow, get the color scheme down.
Those gotta be black. I don't have red pants.
What? There's plenty of events that I know you'll cover when you get to that agenda item, so just encourage everyone, there's just a lot of great things, culmination of hard work for the year and what's to come. And I also wanted to make sure if you didn't notice in the district update that one of the photos, I just wanted to pay tribute to, it's a really talented gal, but that's Michaela McCarville, that is over on the right there, and she did a portrait, and that I believe is going to her family. And she reached out and was really happy that that could be captured and shared, so I wanted to make sure you folks know that that was on there as well.
Next on our agenda is the upcoming meetings and important dates. As Tiffany mentioned, it's really just too many to go through, end of year, just so many great activities going on. Yeah, I'm not gonna read all these. Anything anybody wants to bring particular attention to on here? with that, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion?
Second.
Motion by Peterson, a second by Valdez. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Meeting adjourned.
You don't get that anymore.
That was not planned.
One sec.
You awake now?